Hello everyone, welcome to Dimensions Online Test Series platform. Today we're going to discuss SSC CGL English paper 17. Sorry. The first one, you need to find the word which is synonymous to the given word. The word which is given is acquaint. Acquaint means familiarize or something like to make familiar with. Okay. Now let's look at the options. Arouse. Arouse means evoke or awaken. Introduce. Introduce means make known. Appoint. Assign a job to someone or assigning something to someone. So that is appoint, or you can say nominate or designate as well. Acquire. Acquire means obtaining something or buy or obtaining something. Now if you look at the options, which one will be the closer one to the given one? So acquaint means make someone familiar with something or make familiar with something. At the same time, introduce means make known. So that is quite closer. So I can say option B is the correct one. Next. You need to find the word which is opposite in meaning to the given word. The word which is given is inevitable. Inevitable means inescapable or unavoidable. Unavoidable. Okay. If you look at the options, avoidable, which means you can avoid, you are able to avoid. Then unnecessary means not necessary. Inseparable means unable to separate, not separable. Uncertain. Uncertain means when you don't know something definitely, then you are unsure about it or uncertain about it. Okay? Uncertain. Now, inevitable, which means unavoidable. Same wise, the word which is opposite in meaning to the given word should be avoidable. So, option A is correct. Next. You need to choose the correctly spelt word. So, if you look at the options, affidavit is a word which is correctly spelled. So option D is correct. First of all, what does affidavit means? It's a written statement confirmed by oath or some affirmation. Okay, such thing is known as affidavit. Whenever you are giving a written statement to someone declaring something, some for example, some cause. So you are declaring something. Yes, as per my knowledge, all the given information which was said by me is true. So that's what affidavit. So affidavit means a written statement which can be confirmed by oath or affirmation or declaration. So option D, that's a correctly spelled word. One who abandons his real religious faith. One who abandons his religious faith. Now if you look at the options, apostate, prostate, profane, agnostic. Let's discuss the meanings of each word. Prostate means a gland surrounding the neck of the bladder of mammals. Okay. Profane means secular or non-religious. Means he is not confined to any religion. Next, agnostic means so who disbelieves the existence of the god. If someone disbelieves the existence of the god, is that quality is known as agnostic. Next, apostate. Apostate means one who abandons his religious faith. So option A, apostate, is the correct one. Next one, a hater of knowledge and learning. So let's look at the options. Bibliophile. So we have discussed this word so many times. Bibliophile. Bibli means related to books. Phile means love. The one who has love towards books. So he is known as bibliophiles. Bibliophile. A person who collects or a person who has great love towards books. Next, philologist. Philologist means one who studies language, especially its history and its development. Then such person is known as a philologist. Next one, misogynist. Misogynist means woman hater. A person who dislikes women intensely is known as misogynist. Next one, misologist. Misologist means hatred of knowledge and learning. So that's what it has been asked for, a hater of knowledge and learning. So option D, misologist, is the correct one. Next, a person who does not believe in the existence of the God. Let's look into the options. Theist. Theist means who believes in the existence of the God. But it was not asked. what was asked is a person who does not believe in the existence of the God. Heretic means a person holding an opinion at odds. Means if something is generally accepted and he holds an opinion against it, okay, not in favor of it, okay, such person is known as a heretic. Next, atheist. We already seen what theist is all about. Who believes in the existence of the God. Now, atheist is who does not believe in the existence of the God. So, option C should be the correct one. Let's look at the meaning of the word fanatic as well. For example, fanatic means a person filled with excessive and single-minded zeal. So, such a person is known as a fanatic. But it should be of an extremely religious or political cause. So, that's the thing you need to remember. He should have a single-minded zeal towards something, and often it should be related to something political with respect to its political views or with respect to religious views. Okay, next one, idioms. Let's look at the meaning of the word idiom. Come to light. Come to light means be clearly revealed. Or exposed. Come to light means be clearly revealed or exposed. So ignited, flamed up, brightened. Ignited is again same. So igniting something, right? With fire. Now been revealed. So which one is the correct option? Option D. Been revealed is the correct option. Next one. Hold water. What does hold water mean? Hold water means to prove logical or reasonable in accordance with the facts. If you are proving something which is logically correct, or you can say it is reasonable, or it is reasonable in accordance with the known facts, with the facts, then it is known as hold water. So hold water, the meaning of the idiom hold water is logically should be correct and reasonable in accordance with the facts. Now look at the options. To influence. To influence means influencing someone. To have effect, again having an impact on something. Next, sound logical fact to check the flow of water. So anyway, to check the flow of water is wrong. So to sound logical fact, so it should be logical, and it should be a fact which is logical. So it should sound logical. So option C is the correct one, because we already seen hold water means which is logically correct, or what did I say, something like in accordance with the facts. The reasons which you give should be in accordance with the facts. So it should be logically in accordance with the facts. So option C is correct. Next, eats like a horse. Eats like a horse. When someone eats a lot, then you can use this idiom, eats like a horse. Although he eats like a horse, he doesn't have fat, okay, or he never gets fat. So you can say that way. Look at the options. First one, eats a lot of food, eats slowly, swallows his food, does not like to eat. So which one is the correct one? Eats a lot of food. Option A is correct. Next, error detections. So you have been working very hard for the past 2 years, isn't it? So if you look at the sentence, does the sentence carry a negativity with it, or does the sentence is positive? We haven't found any negative words in the given sentence, so which means the sentence is positive. Whenever you got a positive sentence, what do you need to use? The tag should be negative. And the tag, whenever you are using a tag, you will find the auxiliary verb from that. If you don't have the auxiliary verb, then you look at the verb form. If it is in V1, if it is in V2, accordingly you will use the verb. If it is in V1, then you will use do or does, which depends upon the subject again. If the subject is singular, you will use accordingly do, does. If the subject is plural, you will use does, do. So but for I, what do you use? You use do. Now, except for third person singular, for rest of the cases you will use do. For third person singular, you use does. If it is in past tense, then you use did. Now, you have been working hard. What is the auxiliary verb in this? The auxiliary verb in this is have. And now, what is my subject? My subject is you. Will have you be correct? Not at all. Because is the sentence is in positive or negative? The sense of the sentence is positive. So whenever the sense of the sentence is positive, you will use the negative tag. You have been working very hard for the past 2 years, haven't you? So that's how it should be. You have been working very hard for the past 2 years, haven't you? So it should be haven't you. Just simple things. Sentence is in if the sentence is in positive, you're gonna use the negative tag. If the sentence is in negative, you're gonna use the positive tag. And you will look for the auxiliary verb. If that is not present, you will be looking at the main verb. Next. And you will replicate the subject here. Whatever the subject is there, will replicate the same. So option C is erroneous because it was given isn't it. It should have been haven't you. Next one. Although I have never seen the girl before, I recognized her at once from her photograph. Although I have never seen the girl before, I recognized her at once from her photograph. If you look at the sentence, he recognized her at once from her photograph. So he has not seen the girl before. So he has not seen the girl before. But I didn't see the girl before. So wasn't it in a past tense? Yes, it was in a past tense. So he didn't see the girl before. So that should be in the past tense. But what was given here? Although I have never seen. I have. It suggests the present perfect. Okay. I have never seen. But do we need to use the present there? No. So it is something which happened in the past. So it has not happened. But he had not seen. So he had not seen till then the girl. But he recognized her when when he saw her because of the photograph. Now it should not be I have never, it should be although I had never. Because the sense of the sentence is in past tense. So you need to use it accordingly. So it should also be in the past tense. If he is looking at the girl and recognizing her, and that part itself in the past tense, he hasn't seen the girl before that or prior to that, should also be in the past tense. In fact, it should be in past perfect. So I had never should be the correct one. Although I had never seen the girl before, I recognized her at once from her photograph. If I was told earlier, I would have certainly helped you. If I was told earlier, I would have certainly helped you. See, here would have. So would have is there and if is there. Whenever you have would have with if, what are you gonna use? So in the if class, there should be had, right? As it was in the past passive sense. So if I was told earlier can be converted into if I had been told earlier. So we discussed this many times. This is a impossible condition of if class, that is case 3. So whenever you got would have in the main class, definitely you should have had plus v3 in the if class. Now the erroneous part is part A, because it is not if I was told earlier, it should be if I had been told earlier. Next, we have to ensure that members fulfill the requirements. It is not ensure, rather it should be ensure. What do you need to use there? Ensure should be used there. It's not ensure. So we have to ensure that members fulfill the requirements. Option B is erroneous. Next one. Sentence improvement. If I were you, I would report the matter at once. We discussed this case as well. This is again a if class impossible condition of another kind, where if clause will be in the past tense and you will have would in the main clause. So here it was correctly written like if I were. So I were is in past tense, and the main clause you have would, I would. So this is the case 2 of if clause. Yes, it is right. No improvement is required. One of my old friends has invited me for tea in the evening. The correct preposition to be used there is not for tea, it should be to tea. One of my old friends has invited me to tea in the evening. Next one. I have been knocking at the door 5 times. I don't think anybody is in. So it was not a continuous process to mention knocking. So because it was adjacent to it, it was clearly specified 5 times. So 5 times is not continuous, something continuous. It could have been if the sentence is like this: I have been knocking at the door. I don't think anybody is in. Then it would be correct, because there is no there was not a number which specified 5 times. So because which could mean he was continuously knocking the door, so there is no continuity in it because he knocked the door 5 times. So it should not have been I have been knocking, rather it should be I have knocked. So it's not present perfect continuous, but it should be present perfect. So present perfect, when do you use? Just completed actions. Okay. So far, I mean just a while ago or just completed action, you will use present perfect tense in such instance. But I have been knocking is a present perfect continuous, so it's not a just completed action, it is a continuous action which had begin some time ago and it is still continuing. But it was not still continuing in this case because he knocked the door 5 times just prior to it, but he was not continuously knocking. So I have knocked is the correct one, option C. Next. He seldom or ever loses his temper. So seldom means scarcely, hardly, or very rarely. Okay, means almost it possesses some negativity with it. Whereas ever means you will say best friends forever, BFF, best friends forever. So that's the recently popular abbreviation, right? So ever means forever, so always. But do seldom and ever go along with each other? No, they can't go along with each other. Why they can't go along with each other? Because seldom possesses some negativity with it, whereas ever possesses ever possesses eternity in it. Okay, so ever means forever. Now he seldom, which is a negative word, and ever, which is a positive word. So either it should have been like he always loses his temper, or it should have been like he seldom loses his temper, but both of them could not go together. Now seldom or never, if you look at the option A, seldom or never. Now it makes sense. Why? Seldom means he very rarely loses his temper, or he never loses his temper. So that can go with each other, whereas seldom and ever are quite contradicting with each other. So it can't be the correct option. So the improvement can be option A. Next. After the election, the entering nation a new stage, the nation will enter a new stage. To enter the nation, will the nation enter? So which one can be the correct one? After the election, the nation will enter a new stage. So option B is the correct one. Next. He is dash tennis. So fond is always followed by the preposition of. I am fond of sweets. He is fond of biryani. So likewise, fond is always followed by the preposition of. So he is fond of playing tennis. So fond of. So option B is the correct one. Next. Fate smiled dash him in all his ventures. So at or on. So most of the students might have committed a mistake here. They might have marked at rather on, because they might have heard I smile at him, she smiled at me. Okay, so whenever a person smiles at you, you will be talking about that she smiled at me, she smiles at me, every time she sees me she smiles at me. So likewise you could have told many times. So it made you prompt to mark option A, but that is wrong here. Here, whenever you are talking about a person or whenever you are referring a person, when there is an eye contact with each other, then you can use smile at. Will you have an eye contact with fate? No. Will you is fate a person? No. So it should not be smile at, it should be smiled on. So which could mean, for example, which is favorable to, the fate is favorable to him, so that's what it means here. So fate smiled on him in all his ventures means businesses or whatever he does. So smiled on, fate smiled on him means fate favored him with all his ventures. That's what it means here. So it's not smiled at, which you can use just for a person, not for the fate and all. So smiled on should be used for fate. Option C is correct. Next, the weather in the far north is not. So when you are comparing, how do you use? Like humid as, so humid that. So it should be as humid as is the correct option. Option B is right. Okay. Next passage. Enrico Fermi's theory of the weak force introduced the last of the four basic forces known in nature: gravity, electromagnetism, and operating within the nucleus of the atom, the strong force and the weak force. In the mid 1930s, Fermi made the most important discovery of his life. Passing neutrons through a moderator such as paraffin increased their effectiveness. This finding would allow releasing nuclear energy in a reactor. In 1939, Fermi and collaborator Leo Szilard co-invented the nuclear reactor at Columbia University. The work moved to the University of Chicago, culminating means reaching climax or reaching the pinnacle or highest point, culminating in the assembly of the first full-scale nuclear reactor in a squash court in late 1942. He had proved the science of a chain reaction. From then on, building a bomb was mere engineering. The discovery of how to release nuclear energy had long-term beneficial results. The development of an essentially unlimited new source of energy. Leo Szilard co-invented. So what does he co-invented? He co-invented the nuclear reactor. So that was clearly mentioned in the para 2. In 1939, Fermi and collaborator Leo Szilard co-invented the nuclear reactor at Columbia. So the nuclear reactor, option C is correct. The weak force is, what is the weak force? One of the four basic forces in nature. Option C. Magnetism produced by an electric current, so that's why it is known as electromagnetism. So whenever a current carrying conductor whenever a current carrying conductor is there, so around it the magnetic field will surround. Okay, so that is called electromagnetism. So electromagnetism is magnetism produced by an electric current. For example, if a current carrying conductor is likewise, so then you will have a magnetic field in a particular direction. So option A is correct. Fermi's contribution to physics led to, so it led to understanding of gravity, building of the atom bomb, understanding of electromagnetism, weak force. It led to the building of an atom bomb. So option B is correct. Okay guys, that's all for today. With this we finish SSC CGL paper 17 explanation, and we will see the next session. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.